Hello there and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be looking at Donald Trump's 2024 run if he were to run. Of course, and what that would mean for the Republican Party, what that would mean for him, and what that would mean for American politics in general. And so we're going to get straight into it today. So first we're going to be looking at CPAC. So as you may have heard in the news the past couple of days, CPAC is going on just now with Donald Trump making a speech today after leaving office in January 20th, and he's expected to make a speech about his 2024 bid, the future of the Republican Party, and the presumptive frontrunners. So, as you may have heard, Mitch McConnell has said he would absolutely support Donald Trump if he was the 2024 nominee after calling him morally responsible for the Capitol attacks and says it would be or should be a wide open race. So, the Republican Party, I think, won't leave Donald Trump by 2024. 2028, probably, you could see them drifting away. But by 2024, if you've got their Senate leader saying he'd absolutely support Donald Trump as the 2024 nominee, which Donald Trump is at this rate likely to be the 2024 nominee, then that means it's going to happen. So that's Mitch McConnell endorsing Donald Trump for president. So that's not really drifting away from the Trump side of the party, and I don't think they will. And I don't think they really want to, and I don't think their base wants to. The traditional Republicans are trying to drift away. But that, and you also see a lot of traditional Republicans maybe starting voting for the Democrats now, especially Joe Biden, moderate, been in politics 50 years. If Joe Biden were to run for president again in 2024, a landslide victory could happen, or a huge margin to victory. So, as we come to look at the potential 2024 Republican primaries, we've got quite a lot of candidates here. So, the publicly expressed interest candidates, as you may have seen in some of my previous videos, have not really changed that much. Donald Trump is there, you just can't see him in. Sort of cut off a bit, and you've also got Candace Owens there. So, the two presumptive frontrunners, in my opinion, will be Nikki Haley. She's a Trump Republican, but also she's she's got good charisma, but she expresses the Trump views in the way Romney would. She doesn't sort of personally, she's not like Trump, she's a lot more calmer. And yeah, and the two front runners, in my opinion, be Trump and Nikki Haley. In like third place, maybe I don't think if Donald Trump were to run for president in 2024, Ted Cruz would not run for president. Nikki Haley would, I could see her. And Ron DeSantis, maybe only if there'd be more likely if Donald Trump weren't running, but if Donald Trump were running, you definitely I could see, Ben Sass running, or I wouldn't see Liz Cheney running, neither Charlie Baker, neither Greg Abbott. Maybe there's a slim chance of Mitt Romney. You could maybe just see or just establishment versus Trump, or just Haley versus Trump, and maybe 2016 all over again. Maybe the Republican version of the 2016 primary, where it was Sanders versus Clinton. You may see that, Haley, Trump, or maybe you might see someone else rise. But right now, it will be Nikki Haley versus Donald Trump. And if Donald Trump were not to run, then you could definitely see all of these people running, or a majority of these people running, and a majority of these people running. So, as we come to look at the map, if Donald Trump were to run, solid states wouldn't really change much from 2020. You'd still see most of the same states that went for him in 2020 by safe margins would go the exact same. Not much would change for the safe states. The likely states would, depending on his running mate. If he were to pick Pence again, then I could see Indiana being a safe state. But since we're not putting a running mate yet, say it wasn't Pence, then I would not put that as a safe state. And it's the same with South Carolina, because Nikki Haley was his running mate, then yes, but we don't know that. So here we have our Republican safe states, and now we're going to characterize our Democratic safe states. Again, as I said, not much changing for the Democratic side. Here, similar to 2020, you're not going to see much of a difference. Oh, no, not Pennsylvania. That is definitely not a solid state. So yeah, you're not going to see much of a difference for all the solid states this in 2024. They're pretty much going to be the same as very much going to be the same as 2020. So as we come to characterize the likely Republican states, again, Montana, not much going to change. Kansas, not much is going to change there. It's not a dramatic demographic shift. South Carolina, likely. And again, as we come to Indiana, likely, even without Pence, Trump could carry it. He's got strong support there. And the same with Missouri. So, and now we're going to have a look at the leaning Democratic states. Again, as I said, not much is going to change. It's going to be the same as 2020 as if the leaning states. It's only going to really get that much different when we come to the likelies or the tilts. These are the likelies. I mean, the leaning or the tilts. So yeah, not much is going to change here. Sort of just around stay the same. So as we come to look at the leaning Republican states, where for a leaning Republican, I'd still say Alaska. I think it would get close, definitely. Maybe by 5% it could come down to, or a slimmer margin. But as I said, not much is going to change for the leaning states. And yeah, not huge shifts. There will be the tilts. So now, as we look at the leaning Democratic states, we could see Nevada as a lean, Arizona definitely, and Georgia now. And Virginia I meant to characterize as likely earlier on. Sorry, forgot about that. As I said, yeah, the leaning Democratic states in the South. Same, Nevada, Arizona, Georgia. They're just going to get more and more Democratic as the Republican Party gets more and more into the Trump phase. They're not going to change for if Trump's still leading the Republican Party or a Trump kind of candidate. They're not going to change. They're going to get more and more Democratic. If you see sort of Ted Cruz or Josh Hawley running in 2028, you'd even see Georgia go by 5-6%, and the same with Arizona. They're just going to get more and more Democratic as the Republican Party gets more and more right wing. So now, as we come to look at and I forgot, and again, the Rust Belt leaning Democratic states, again, they're just they'll go. They like Biden, or Harris. They like both of them. They can trust them, and I don't think they'd vote for Trump again. They wouldn't vote for him again. So, as we come to look at the tilt Republican states, again, I do think that Donald Trump would be able to pull off Maine second district by a very narrow amount, not as much as he did in 2020 or 2016. And I forgot to do that as a lean, Nebraska's second district. So again, Biden Harris would beat Trump again, or Biden or Harris, I think would beat Trump. Just because I don't think America, but with Biden or Harris as the candidate, I think they'd much rather have that. Because again, what you'd see is you'd have 4 years of Biden work, and then Donald Trump's 4 years, if he were to get reelected, his 4 years would be unraveling all of that. I think I think we already know his new slogan, or I think his new slogan would be "Save America," as it is for all the statements he gives as from the office of the former president. So that could probably be his new slogan. You see, "Save America" hat's all about. But yeah, Biden Harris, I think Biden or Harris would be able to pull off another victory. So again, back to the tilt Republican states. Texas, again, I could see being a tilt Republican state in this election. It's going to get closer and closer. Trump, maybe 1%. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Texas goes blue or in 2024. But I am going to still say it'll stick with Trump by 2028. No. No matter who the candidate is, Texas will go blue in 2028. That's for certain. 2024, there's a possibility, but I'm still going to say it'll go by a very small margin. Now, as we come to Iowa and Ohio, I would say that I think Trump would narrowly carry Iowa by a very slim margin, just because I think he'll still sort of. I think he as 9%, it'll be back down to like 2% maybe. Iowa will get closer. But then after that, I think you'll see one close year, and then 2028. No, Iowa will go back to the Republican Party by 10% after that. A lot of the Democratic Party vote left Iowa. They've moved down to the South, moved to California, to Minnesota, to Illinois, to Missouri. They've moved away. There's not much Democrats left in Iowa. So Ohio, I still think Trump could narrowly pull off again. As a big Trump state, so 3%, 2% maybe. Yeah. And as we come to North Carolina, I say North Carolina, Biden or Harris would be able to pull that off. And I think, yeah, I think that either of them would be able to pull that off by by 1%. It's getting more democratic. They just you haven't. I think they would target that state more than they have ever done before. It's in reach for them, but they never reach for it. Yes, but as we come down to Florida, there's sort of a problem here because Biden, I think Harris would do better in Florida than Biden would. I still think both of them would be able to carry it, but it's by the margins. I think Harris would be able to carry it by 2%, and Biden would be in the between point be very very slim margin. I don't by 0.5% or 0.2%. But I think Harris could carry it by more of a margin, just because I think she appeals to minorities much more than Joe Biden does. Because Joe Biden's at that time would be an 82-year-old white man, so he wouldn't really appear to appeal to that Florida minority vote. Whereas I think by Kamala Harris would. So I'm going to still say it would go Democratic, but still by very slim margin, even if it were Biden or Harris. So this would mean Biden and Harris would win a sort of landslide victory. I'll put the states in blue and full blue and red, and vice versa. And I also think there'd be again Trump wins the 2024 nomination. There'd be a great divide in the Republican Party, a huge divide. You'd have half of the Republicans endorsing Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, and then you'd have the other half endorsing Trump. So this would definitely play a big factor in the election. All the traditional Republicans would end up coming out for Biden or Kamala Harris, and also a lot of minorities I think would turn out for them as well. So Donald Trump will not win the 2024 election because the two presumptive Democratic nominees, if it's not Biden, I'm almost certain it'll be Harris. So yeah, again, other Republicans. We come back and have a look at here. A lot of these people do not support Donald Trump. Liz Cheney, Charlie Baker. You've also got Mitt Romney, Ben Sass. Marco Rubio does, but not strong advocate. So yeah, you see a lot of that. So thank you for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be posting more videos. Sorry, I haven't been posting much lately. I've been quite busy with school and stuff. So thank you.